What's up, everybody? Welcome to Podcast Now. I'm Alex, and in this video, I wanted to do a live stream again on Life is Strange. I'm definitely in the Life is Strange mood. We'll talk about that in this live stream, but Life is Strange Double Exposure, just a little bit over 2 months away. I think if you pre-order it, it might be 2 months and then a few days, but I actually just got done replaying Life is Strange 1. I have a video coming out actually this weekend about, just some kind of raw emotions of replaying the game. Not necessarily a retrospective, just kind of talking about it. And, I think I played it maybe Saturday, Sunday, Monday night, something like that. So, I mean, it's all I've kind of been thinking about. And I thought, well, we do these weekly live streams, and there actually is a lot of news. I'm going to have a lot of videos over today going into tomorrow. Got D23 today and into the weekend. But I thought, Life is Strange is just on my mind. We're getting, ever so close, and I thought I would do a stream where we talk a little bit about it, more theories, more predictions, because I don't know if I have a different way of looking at it after replaying the first game, but I think I have like an enhanced way. And not to make it sound like that's like a more superior version to like somebody else's, but if you replay the first game, you're kind of just like put back into that world, and it's like, okay, I think I'm a little bit more picky right now than maybe I even normally was when talking about this game. So what's going on, guys? RMX, Art, Cloudroth, Telos, what's going on? Day's been going pretty okay. This has been I'm happy with this week, actually. This week has been pretty good. Even last week was pretty darn solid. Got a lot of news, got a lot of, kind of like smaller rumor-like things. So a lot of variety going on in the last couple of days on the channel and stuff. And I did see the Half-Life 3 leak/rumor. I did see that. I was kind of debating covering it, and then I never really did. Why aren't you? I just can't. That's all you need to know for now. I just can't stream it. I don't know when the next. So like, the next one might be in 2 weeks. Next Friday I can't stream. Friday after I will, but that'll actually be after Gamescom. So maybe that Friday we can do like a just an overview, just talk about the news, talk about Gamescom. I think we could do that. That's also the week before Astrobot. So, is it? Or is it, am I missing a week? Oh, no, okay. Yeah. We got one, and then we got a second one, and that one's the one before Astro. Yeah. I was half considering, maybe partially considering still streaming Arkham Asylum on Back to the Past. I don't know if I'll do it. I might not. Depends, but yeah. So that's probably that one. I replayed Life is Strange and Before the Storm pretty recently. Always surprised. Oh, yeah. I mean, I'll talk a little bit about. Maybe we'll do it right now, and then I'll get to the chat. If you guys have any theories, any predictions, any conversations you want to strike up, definitely let me know in the chat. I'll read all of them. Just let me kind of go on a rant for a couple seconds. A good rant. I mean, I think I tweeted it as well, but like replaying Life is Strange 1, I mean, what a goddamn masterpiece, truly. And I really think like certain games will hit me really hard when I replay them. Not every game does. I've replayed probably like 60 games in the last 12 months. Like, it's been that much. It's been so, because of Back to the Past, I've just done so many games that many of them I had already played. And sometimes, depends on the game, but like you kind of just go back into it and you just feel different. Like when I replayed Arkham Asylum, you just remember how amazing, as things aged, yeah, but you just remember how amazing that game is. I would even say like Arkham Asylum is such a freaking great game. It is a masterpiece of a trilogy. It's a really great trilogy. But playing Life is Strange, it reminds me why I think it's one of my favorite games ever, right? Like, this is probably a top 5 game, the first Life is Strange. It actually makes me a little bit more mad at Life is Strange 2, to throw that controversial opinion out, because I didn't like Life is Strange 2 so much. And then replaying 1, I don't think there's, like, almost anything wrong with, what I mean? Like, it's so good. From the music, to the visuals, to the characters, to the lore, Arcadia Bay, Blackwell, Max, everything is so, like, I don't want to say perfect because that's a tough word, but it's so freaking good. And then it's like, how do you go to Life is Strange 2 after that? But no, I mean, but you also, it's like, it reminds me why it's, you know what I mean? You just take away something different. I felt like I didn't want to play any other game again after I played, like, literally Monday, Tuesday. I was like, I kind of want to just sit here. And, you know, my wife, she always pretends like she's not here right now, so I can speak openly. She always pretends like she doesn't like Life is Strange, right? I think she has a soft spot for Life is Strange 1. She sat next to me. She was doing her own thing while I was playing it on the TV, and she would chime in. She would chime in every so often, right, for like a major thing. And we talked about it for like 2 hours after that game ends, of like the mental gymnastics of what you have to go through to pick, you know, Chloe or Arcadia Bay. So I think she secretly does care about Max, Arcadia Bay. That I just want to kind of throw it out there. But no, I mean, it's so freaking good. So when I was done with it, I didn't want to play anything else, right? I'm thinking about the music. I'm thinking about certain scenes. I'm thinking, wow, Max is still one of the greatest game characters that's ever been created, which does get us to double exposure, because I think, oh my God, like, they better not mess this up. Not only do I think Life is Strange 1 is 9.99 out of 10, right? I don't want to give it a perfect score, 10 out of 10, but Max is also one of the greatest game characters I think we've ever gotten. And that could be a hot take to some, but I'll say it. I'm not afraid. So I swear to God, you know, Deck 9, if you're watching, I swear to God, if you mess Max up in this game, I'll just pretend like it didn't exist. You know, I think, honestly, that's where my mind is at right now, is if something goes horribly wrong with double exposure, I'm just going to pretend like it doesn't exist, because I think Life is Strange is such a masterpiece. And while I've always wanted Max to return and always wanted more, I guess I kind of wanted, you know, like, I don't know, like, I will accept what they're going to give us. I wonder what Don't Nod at peak Don't Nod, right? Because they're a little bit more uneven now. They have some good games, they have some solid games, but they're uneven. You know, I'm excited for Lost Records. I think that game hopefully is going to be really good, very Life is Strange inspired. But like, what would Don't Nod 2015, 2016? What would they cook up for like a Life is Strange 2 with Max? If they had to do a sequel right away with Max, what would they do? Because, I mean, you know what I mean? It would be unbelievable. The talent that they had in 2013, 14, 15, unmatched. And I don't think they have that talent anymore. They have maybe different talent, but not. So just wanted to go on that rant. I'm sorry I had to go on it, but yeah, I got a video going up this weekend that I kind of go a little bit more in depth on it. And then for the 10-year anniversary of Life is Strange in January, on Back to the Past, I'm going to do a whole retrospective. I'm actually, I think, going to record it this weekend, probably 40, 50, 60 minutes. It's going to be one of the longer videos I've ever made. I just think it's such a masterpiece. But it does get me more critical for double exposure, because, like, now everything's in my head. I remember everything, right? There was a couple things, I mean, like, major things, I remember all of it. But there was a couple things where it's like, okay, especially like the trauma, you know, like of characters that die no matter what. Some characters, you know, it depends on which way you go, and what specifically happens. You also have to remember, by the way, Max lives through so freaking much. You know what I mean? Like, what she goes through before she makes that final decision, that's the stuff that will haunt her, I imagine, in double exposure. So we'll see kind of how that goes. All right. For now, I'll stop on Life is Strange 1. But you guys let me know if you want to get me back into it. Superhero related, what's going on, buddy? If you guys didn't check it out, I made a post on it. I did a Spider-Man 2. Well, we kind of talked about Wolverine. We talked about a couple of different things, but I did it with superhero related and Skadoosh. Great people, very, very nice people, and really good channels. I think there's a lot of great success coming for both of them, honestly. So, yeah. Would you ever do a video talking about how you would have done Suicide Squad differently? Oh, that's an interesting one. Maybe, you know, maybe for like a 1 year later kind of thing, we can maybe look back at it and talk about what I would have. Yeah, I like that idea. I mean, I'll tell you right now, honestly, it wouldn't be that difficult. You just have to change it from like the live service elements should be dropped and you just focus on the main game. Like that's the very, very short of it. So prediction, Max will slap someone when she gets angry. No, I mean, I saw a thing on Twitter about Hannah Tell. She did a thing with in where was it? France? It was somewhere overseas, maybe just in Europe, we'll just say. And there's a couple different tidbits with her, and she talked about how Max is less shy now, kind of more direct. And it's like, that would be interesting, because Max is a very generally socially awkward individual, right? Pretty awkward, pretty quiet, pretty shy. So for her to change, you know, we'll see how that goes. Oh yeah, 2025 is going to be big. 2025. I mean, I'm feeling good just with like a busy week, right? Like if we just have one week, which has been this week, where there's like every day there's been a little something this week, right? A little something different here and there. I love it. So I mean, if you give me a couple months of that, you give me like a year and a half of that straight. But no, I think we're jumping into a new territory. Another prediction: Warren moves on to a new woman, and Max tries to sabotage her. LOL. I don't know. I always feel for Warren. I always feel because I mean, I was a little bit like Warren, honestly, with one girl. To be honest with you, I was kind of like that a little bit, where it was kind of like obvious, but and I don't know, like I I'm trying to like think of how I'm gonna say it. Like I'm okay. Max and Chloe being a couple is totally fine, and I choose that 4 out of 5 times. I chose the Chloe ending, but they work really well as best friends as well. I don't think they need to be romantically linked if you don't want them to be. And like for Max and Warren, like most of the game, it's everybody just telling Max that Warren is into her, and then she's like, "Yeah, I know." You know what I mean? Like that happens all the time, where it's like he really likes you, right? She's like, "Yeah, he's so nice," and it's like, oh my god. So it's like I don't know if Max and Warren would ever, but she was very willing to go on the date with him, right? But they never did it, and it's like I don't know, like would she ever have gotten with Warren? Controversially, I would actually say no. I just feel like it's a situation where he's in it more than she is. You know what I mean? So I don't know. I don't know how that would actually work at the end of the day. I don't know. To Oliver Franson, I'd have to translate what you're saying there, buddy. I love Mafia 4 though, so if you're into Mafia content, I can try to translate what you said. Unless that was a link to something. Can Google figure it out? I'll try to... Mafia 4, the new player, when it comes. Oh, no. Okay. Do you know when Mafia 4 comes? I assume that's what you were asking. No, I don't, but I definitely am into Mafia. You'll see Mafia content from this channel. 1,000%. I'm going to replay at least Mafia 3 at some point. Now replay Life is Strange 2. Yeah, no. Not right now. Definitely not right now. Is Life is Strange 2 a well-liked game? Good question. What do you guys think? I think it's kind of split. I think more people like it than don't. I think I'm definitely in the minority of like borderline hating it. I have a ranking video on the channel that I think has like over 100,000 views. Like it's a good sample size, and most people put 1 over 2, but there are some people that actually like Life is Strange. I'll tell you, I think I've said this before. I don't understand it. People that like Life is Strange 2 more than 1, I just truly don't get that. I can respect you. If you respect me saying I really don't like it, then I'll respect you saying you love it. But I just can't. I would never. You would never see me do that. But that's okay. That's okay because we're not all the same people, right? I have an undying love for 1 and not for 2, and that's what makes me me. Life is Strange does have a good... Yeah. I mean, like the visuals of Life is Strange 1. I was playing the remaster, and I know the remaster in some ways is actually a little bit worse. I'm totally fine with like playing the original, but I mean, visually, the lighting, what'd you say, atmosphere, yeah, it's special. The ending of some of those episodes of Life is Strange 1 are unreal. They're unbelievable when they're swapping scenes, and it's the indie kind of rock scene playing in the background. Oh my God. Liam Hughes, what's going on, buddy? Nice to see you. Assassin's Creed, Star Wars, Patrick Game, Funko Fusion, Astro. Oh yeah, there's tons. I mean, you listed a good amount of them. Throw in Black Myth, throw in Hogwarts or Harry Potter Quidditch Champions, throw in Casting of Frank Stone, Lollipop Chainsaw, Epic Mickey, Dead Rising, Metaphor, Life is Strange, Dragon Ball. I think you said Dragon Ball maybe. I mean, just Assassin's Creed. So many. Like there's about to be like 25 games coming in the next couple months. This is probably the most nervous I've been about a character / game. Yeah, no, I mean, I think I've led like some sort of charge, online for a little while of being like, yeah, I'm going to be very critical of Life is Strange because I care so much. But especially now after replaying it, it's like, I don't know, gatekeeping, like that phrase, and that's a loaded word. It's definitely a loaded word that I think people can kind of go in both directions with. But I mean, I feel I think this is okay. You can correct me if I'm wrong. I feel like it's okay to like to feel you need to protect Max Caulfield. You know what I mean? If you're into something like so passionately, like you don't want to see it, you know what I mean? And I guess it has more power if other people are behind you. And I do think though that's what makes this rather interesting, because I think it's not like a random one-off game that nobody really cares about, and you for some reason has some undying love to like a character or a story, and then they bring the franchise back, they completely change it, but very few people care, right? Then it's like you still have the right, I would say, to say, hey, like I really love that first game, I really love this character. But when you have like an army of people, when you have millions of people that adore it, you know what I mean? It's a sensitive thing. I think Max is one of the greatest characters ever. I think Life is Strange is one of the best games I've ever played. I also don't think I'm alone. That game has 20 million people, right? I think it sold 20 million copies. Millions of people love, and no other Life is Strange game got anywhere close, not even remotely close, right? I think that's why they went back to it, because you look at and I mean, not to get too conspiracy-like, and it's not to put Deck 9 down. Deck 9 seemingly was in trouble, right? Like The Expanse was not a success. They had contracts dropped, right? They were working on some projects. Telltale pulled the funding for them. There might have been danger of Deck 9 like being in big trouble, right? So like they're looking around and they're saying, "Hey, we need projects. We need to like have work so we can make money." And I mean, True Colors I like. I like True Colors a lot, but you got to think like Life is Strange really peaked. And whether people like 2 more is kind of on the side. Life is Strange peaked in number 1. No game sold even close, not even remote, like not even. I would argue, like I don't know the numbers, but I would be shocked if any Life is Strange game has reached 5 million. Any of them, Before the Storm, 2, or True Colors. I don't think any of them have reached 5, 6, 7, 8 million. Now double that, right? And you're not even at Life is Strange 1 yet. So I do think they went there purposely because they do see Max and the first game as like the thing for Life is Strange, which I don't think is wrong. I actually think that's kind of correct, right? But yeah, I mean, with that comes a lot of responsibility. Like people care, and you can't mess this stuff up. You can't because it's not just me. I'm loud. I make a lot of videos. I'm here, but I mean, like people will express themselves with sales. Like if people are not happy with this, you might kill Life is Strange with this game. That's a real possibility. And you could say Life is Strange is Max, so without Max, you didn't have it in the first place, but you could legitimately like destroy the franchise here. Or you could keep it going. This could help it. And you don't have to go back to Max for a little while. I don't know, though. I think you kind of need to do a trilogy at this point. I don't really see why you would bring Max back for 2 games and not for 3. That's maybe like a stickler thing in my head where I would hate that. But it's been done. There has been games that you ended on 2, but I would prefer you ended on 3. Life is Strange 1 is the GOAT. I couldn't get into any of the others. Should I try True Colors? Well, firstly, welcome, Dale. I recognize you. Thanks for being here, buddy. It is the GOAT. So True Color, I like True Colors. I think True Colors has a little bit of the personality of 1. Visually, it's really, really nice. I think I've told the story before, but in case you don't know, I'm like 30 minutes away from the fictional town that True Colors is based off. I drove through it this past June. I drove through on the highway, but I did drive through the town. Like you could see it on the left. So that's pretty cool. Like it's neat. So I like the city or the town. I like Alex as a character. The music themes, her being able to like vibe off of people's emotions. I think it's good. I think it's a good solid story too. So yeah, I would give True Colors a try. I've just always, I don't know if I've ever expected, well, maybe I did. I was going to say, I don't know if I've ever expected like one of these games to be better or to match 1. That's another thing when you play a game that like kind of changes you as a person, right? Where it's like any game from that franchise probably won't match it. But I do remember being unbelievably excited for 2, not even mad that it wasn't Max, and then just the most disappointment I've ever felt, maybe in my life. Life is Strange 2 and Last of Us 2 might be, like things where it's like, I can't believe it. And Last of Us 2 had more redeeming qualities, I would say, than Life is Strange 2. But, yeah. So when I went into True Colors, I thought, all right, let's just see. Because Before the Storm, I think, was a pleasant surprise for me. I thought that game was actually quite good. But True Colors, I liked. I don't know how I'd feel about Life is Strange 2 current day now. My prediction right now is I still would think I wouldn't like it. I still would think I wouldn't like it. I'm not sure if you know, but I think season 4 is the season Batman Returns and Suicide Squad. Yep. I've been paying attention. I've been paying attention a little bit too. I've been paying attention to it a little bit. I'll watch the cutscene to see what Kevin Conroy, his lines are. But we'll see. I'm still waiting for the offline mode for Suicide. I'll cover that when that's out. Currently trying to platinum Spider-Man Miles Morales. Nice. The possibility of seeing Rachel. I want to make a video on that, but I think it's possible. Now, here's the thing. This is actually something that, you remember this. You might remember this, right, if you replayed 1. But I did kind of forget this a little bit, right? So, when Max starts to mess with time, right, when she starts doing, like, photo hopping, which, by the way, love it. And that's already kind of multiversal travel, by the way. But when she starts hopping into the pictures, right, go back to Life is Strange 1. If you guys remember one very interesting part, I forgot it. Rachel is dead in any time that she jumps to. Even if it's like an alternate thing. Anytime she jumps, including, and the big one, right? So when she tries to save William and she ends up, Chloe ends up in the car crash, right? They go through the life. Max meets with Chloe and Rachel is still missing and Rachel is still dead. They also hint throughout the whole game, like, is it Rachel's storm or is it because Max saved Chloe and it kind of went against destiny and fate, right? And they never give an answer, and I'm okay with that. I don't need an answer. I never need you to explain that to me because I like the mystery of it. But what's interesting is even in alternate timelines, because that's what she does. She saves William, which branches off, right, and makes a new thing. Even in that timeline, Rachel still dies. So I wonder when she's doing multiversal travel in Double Exposure, I will say this, because we've said, right, if you jump to the other universe, you can have the opposite happen, right? So if you save Arcadia Bay, you could maybe have a Chloe cameo in the alternate universe because she'd be alive. And Rachel, right? I will say, if they're not in it, they did, Don't Nod kind of gave them the out 10 years ago. Because it was already established that you can change courses. Now but you have to get into like how time works. You know what I mean? Like get deeper into it. But they did like a time multiversal, shift where a different thing happens and there's a ripple effect throughout time and Rachel still dies. So I wonder if she jumps universes. If Chloe died, if you chose that ending, would Chloe still be dead? Because maybe all paths always lead to that, right? Quote unquote. Maybe they make that like a rule. Maybe all paths lead to Rachel being dead, right? And I didn't think of that. I didn't think of that honestly until I started to play it. I'm texting my. I can't do more than one thing at once. But you guys will have to let me know what you think about that because when she said that. And you can see the posters, and I don't know if you see the posters. They mention like the missing girl, and you can ask about Rachel. It's an episode, I guess it'd be in episode 4 of Life is Strange. And I thought, oh, that's actually pretty interesting because that's kind of an out where like no matter what happens, Rachel could be dead anyway. Okay, let's see. GTA 6 is going to be cinema. It is. I'm very excited about it. I've seen a lot of people trying to calm, the opinion on which is fair. It's fair, but I think I'm getting maybe a little too excited for GTA 6. Did you know there was a collab game PlayStation did a while back with Sly Cooper, Jak and Daxter, and Ratchet and Clank? It was on the PlayStation Move, and it's pretty bad. I think I do. Yeah, I recognize or I remember something like that. I don't think I actually had it, but I know what you're talking about. I could try to find it. I've seen Move games and I've seen Kinect games out in the wild before. Um, Finally, a year that's not wild in that way. I've noticed it's been saying that 2024 is good and 2025 will be just as good also. Yeah, 2024 has been uneven. It's going to be, I think, really good these next couple months. But going into next year, I think 2025 has the potential to be consistently big. So like all the, you know what I mean? That's like I guess that's the definition of consistent. Whereas this year we've had pockets, right? It's been big here, then there's like 2 months, then there's a game, then another month, then there's a game. I think 2025 could be every month you get something, and it's just a consistent like big thing. But again, it depends on who you are. You know what I mean? Because like I'll say from my perspective, like okay, is any game going to really beat GTA 6? No. And there's some huge games that could come out next year. If the Wonder Woman game comes out next year, that'd be massive, right? Hogwarts Legacy was last year, and that game was quite big. And also from like the content creation from me. But like, okay, what we're talking about today, right? Like this game has been what I've been asking for, or hoping we would get for like 9 years. There's actually very few games that could ever beat my excitement for this game. I like Sly Cooper. If Sly ever came back, would I be more excited for GTA? I mean, I would go that extreme. Would I be more excited for GTA right before 6 versus Life is Strange? I don't know. I think I'd almost call it a tie. And GTA 6 is like the biggest game of our lifetime so far, right? But Life is Strange just means that much. So, you know what? Yes, it's kind of been light, and there's going to be a lot of more, there's going to be more games coming out soon, but it always kind of depends on who you are. Because if you like Final Fantasy, this year has been great, right? If you were like looking forward to Astro, but if you're a Dragon Ball fan, maybe this year you're only buying Sparking Zero and that's it, and that makes it a great year because you got a new Dragon Ball game you know what I mean? It depends on what you do. If you play sports games, you got maybe one of the better sports games in a decade with college football, right? They actually did a good game. So you know what I mean? So it depends on who you are, I guess. They didn't do enough relationship building with Warren. Yeah, it's there, but it's a lot. Like I said, like truly, I kind of was like laughing because it's something I kind of forgot about a little bit, where they say a lot. It's other characters, right? Because Warren will do something and Max will be like, oh, that's so cute. Or they'll text, right? Things like that. But a lot of like side characters, right? Is it Stella? Is that the one that likes him but he doesn't really, and she's always like jealous of you? There's a couple characters though that'll say, he's really into you, Max. And she'll say, yeah, I know, like, yeah. And she'll never like, take that. And maybe they didn't want to do that because they kind of wanted you and, but again, like they don't push the you and Chloe romancing thing all that much. Like, yes, you can kiss her, but beyond that, they don't push it too much. It's more like this sisterhood kind of bond where it's best friends forever. You can take that and keep going with it. I think that's totally fine. But yeah, I think they could have done more with her and Warren. Warren gave her the ick. He can get wild, right? Like I stopped him from beating Nathan up, and Nathan's such a complex character, right? But for me, I remember both outcomes of pretty much any major decision. So when I replayed it, I kind of just chose the one that I wanted. Very few times did I rewind. I will say I did rewind. Well, that one, he beats him up. Oh, no. Well, he is beating him up, and you can either stop him or let him go. And originally, I let him go in this playthrough. And, he beats the ever-living heck out of Nathan, and he's crying. He's saying, I think he says, I'm sorry or something like that. And then if you have Warren back off, Nathan is like, he picks up his gun. He says, like, you guys are all dead, and he's a jerk. But I just thought he dies canonically like a couple hours after that. Like he literally goes from being beaten up by Warren to being killed by Jefferson. You know what I mean? Like it's that quick. So in real time. So it's like, all right, I'm not going to have his last. That's how deep I get, by the way, and I think that's what makes the game so special, right? Especially when you replay it. It's like, he's going to die. Like he doesn't make it to the Vortex Club or the end of the world party. So it's like, do I want Warren to like, and I think if you watch both of them, right, Warren doesn't want to be like him. Warren doesn't want to like lose it and just go uncontrollably like ape on people, right? So I think it is the right decision to pull Warren off of him, but he can get pretty like intense, which I like. I like that he can go that way. In a way, it was because of the success of The Walking Dead Season 1 from Telltale while we got games like Life is Strange. Yes. Telltale's Walking Dead is the blueprint for why any of these games work, I think. It made the choice base. It made the that's a great comment. It all stems. And, Telltale did it before then with Back to the Future, which I actually played. My sister actually played it as well, and it's an okay game. Jurassic Park, I've never actually played that. I do want to play that one day, but I hear it's really bad. So, they attempted it beforehand, but it was really Walking Dead, which, and that was a storytelling thing too, but I also, in terms of the episodic part to it, right, it showed you could do episodes, you can, have that kind of stuff work out. But you need to have a great story, you need to have great characters, great connections. For that, it was Lee and Clementine, right? You have to have these ripple effect things that kind of go on, and Life is Strange just has a really great foundation because time travel is so cool. Whoever at Don't Nod thought to give her time travel powers is a genius, right? Because rewinding time is just so cool. And jumping through the photos, right, is so cool. And then you also have the other themes, like you have bullying and I don't want to say certain words, but like the stuff Kate goes through and stuff, right? There's some serious stuff that happens in that game. Like it's real, and it affects real people too. I think a lot of people can relate to a lot of the characters in Life is Strange, and that certainly doesn't hurt it, right? That definitely helps it. But you also have the backdrop of time, and I think that's a really cool they're all gimmicks, right? Like gameplay gimmicks, story gimmicks. Time travel, that's a gimmick. It doesn't mean it's bad. It's incredible. Whoever thought to do it should be head of the company. Okay. Currently replaying Watch Dogs 1. I'm just now realizing how tedious one of the side missions is. Yeah, Watch Dogs 1 relies a lot on, because I replayed it back in May, actually, right? And it relies on cars a lot. And I actually don't mind it because I think the car mechanics is pretty good, but it relies on cars quite a bit for a lot of the side stuff in Watch Dogs 1. I think it's a great game, though. What about Rachel Amber's fate in Life is Strange Double Exposure? Yeah, I think she'll be dead. I hope she's brought up. Could Max see a picture of, like, Chloe and Rachel, too? There was a lot of pictures of Chloe and Rachel. There's a lot of pictures that Max saw of Chloe and Rachel. So hopefully we can get like one of those. I think 3 Life is Strange characters will be in Kingdom Hearts. What? I would love. It is Square Enix. If they brought like Max in Kingdom Hearts, I don't even know what I've never thought of that. I don't think it's going to happen. I think it's like a 0.5% chance. But Kingdom Hearts is like also one of my favorite franchises ever. So to like put those two together would be I think I'd cry. That'd be unreal. The story in Life is Strange never stood out to me much, but that rewind mechanic was pretty good, not gonna lie. Yeah, I think it's interesting to me. Like I like the themes of like, are you defying fate by saving Chloe? I think it's just the relationship. A lot of Life is Strange is the relationship between characters. I think it's world building. I think that's what they did. And I think that's what hurt. I mean, again, controversial. What I think hurt Life is Strange 2, a lot of things. But when you play 1, Blackwell is a place. Like you feel like that college is a place. You feel like Arcadia Bay. And it's all because I think they built it with that in mind, right? They know at the end of the game, they're going to make you choose between this one character that they're going to really get you to connect to or the town. And so, well, how do you pick between those? Well, you got to have a really good reason for both. So for the town, you got to make it real. You got to make it real people. You got to kind of build a story. So you have like the Prescotts buying up all these businesses and kind of ruining the town, putting people out of business. The fishing, like the boomingness of the fishing or fishers, right, are not there anymore. You have these kind of run down places like Two Whales Diner is just it's popular, but it's like a local thing, right? And the town doesn't have a lot of money, and Blackwell's kind of like the main thing, and all the money that the Prescotts put into it. So you kind of have to build up this area, this setting. And Life is Strange 2, you're on the run for so much of the game. And episode 4 is just a complete detour, and you go through like a religious cult type side mission. And it's like you never have time to kind of establish a zone. Even when you meet those people selling weed, I think, right? Like that was the closest they got to like establishing, hey, here's some characters, start to get to know them, start to get to know like this area in the woods or whatever. Maybe you'll stay for a little bit, and they stay there for like an hour. You know what I mean? It's not enough time to establish Sean and Daniel with anybody. They never give it enough time. And I mean, as I've said, like I don't like Sean and Daniel. I think their relationship with each other is not very good either. So there's a lot of other things to get into, but I do think that hurt it because I think Arcadia Bay is a character. I think Blackwell is a character. I think, Miss Warren and Principal Wells and, Chloe and Joyce and David and you can, Victoria, you can list off Alyssa that you saved like 19 times. There's so many of them. And I can't remember almost anybody. Actually, nobody. I can't give you a name for True Colors or 2. And that's Frank. I didn't even say Frank for 1. So, yeah, I mean, that, to get a little bit more analytical, I think that's a real thing that has impacted these games since then, by the way. But that's just my opinion. These are just all my thoughts, little hot takes here and there. It's cool to see someone theorizing and showing excitement for the IP. Also, hello. Well, thank you. Honestly, thank you. I appreciate that. I really try, and it's genuine. I mean, I went back a few days ago and made sure I was right. Life is Strange was the first game. It was the first franchise that I ever live streamed, and I think maybe like the first or second game I ever live streamed on the channel back in the end of March of 2015. So almost 10 freaking years ago. It was one of the things that basically started my channel, and it was never big. I would have like 3 people watching, and I did a review for Life is Strange 1 in October of 2015 when it was over. And yeah, I didn't cover it as much as you would think I would now, but I had no idea what I was doing back then. But it's just always been so, it's coming from like a real place. That's why I think I'm just very honest with how I think of 1, 2, all this stuff. I'm just being honest, right? Like 1 hit me so hard originally, and from every episode, from episode 1 of Life is Strange, I knew it was going to be like a very special. I knew it was going to be my favorite game that year. I knew it was going to be a game that's one of my favorite games of all time. I could tell that based off the first episode, and from then it's just history. So it all comes from like a real place. Hoping we see 007, Wonder Woman. I still hope for Wolf Among Us. The 007 game would be sweet. It's been enough time for it, too. Do you consider Life is Strange a big name current day? Yeah, I think Life is Strange still has, like, value in its name. I think Life is Strange with Max has the most value. I think a Life is Strange game without Max is not as big. I think it can still be impactful. I just think less people care. That's all. It did. Also released during peak Telltale, which I think helped its sales. Yeah, it was coming. When did it came in 2015? When did Walking Dead? Was that 2013? Maybe. Wolf Among Us, I think, was 2014. Tales from the Borderlands, I think, was 2014-15. So yeah, we're talking. Life is Strange came out after Walking Dead worked, Wolf Among Us worked, and then Tales was currently also. I mean, like. 2014-15 was like the freaking peak of Telltale, right? Like think about releasing Walking Dead season 1, Wolf Among Us, Tales, and then they also season 2 of Walking Dead is actually extremely good too. I know people like it falls off I think a little bit with 3, actually falls off a lot with 3, and then 4 I think kind of gets back to it a little bit. But I mean, imagine going on that run of Life is Strange. If you added Life is Strange, that'd be insane. But yeah, Walking Dead, Wolf Among Us, Tales, and then Walking Dead season 2. I mean, they had Batman. I think Batman was 2015 or 16. Minecraft was around that time as well. So yeah, you're talking about peak. But to sell 20 million, you've got to be special. You just have to be. It was the wave of the type of games, but I think Life is Strange just hit differently because many of the Telltale games also didn't get to 20 million. You know what I mean? Like to stand out, it's different to get to like 1 or 2 million versus 20. So I think that helped it. It allowed it to like do its thing. And I think it allowed people to accept it, but it hit on its own. You know what I mean? Max trilogy only if Chloe is there too. Yeah. I mean, we're gonna have to see. Like, I'm sure we will have many discussions once we beat it. We got to see how they end this story to see if there's even a because if you were to like kill her or something, right, Max, that's like, well, you can't do a sequel to it. But I definitely want 3. Now that we finally gotten 2, and also I do not want to wait 10 more years. I really don't. I also don't like. I don't care, I guess, about the age, but like I don't want Hannah Tell to be like 50 years old. I mean, if Max is older, I guess that's fine. But if Max is like 30 in the 3rd game, and you wait 10 more years, and Hannah Tell is like 46, 47, 48, it's like, okay, let's get these games out when she's still younger. Because her voice has changed. If you listen to Max now and you her voice has Hannah Tell really is Max Koff. I think they're like the same person if you ever hear her talk, and just the way she is also kind of shy. I think they're basically the exact same person, which I think is really, really cool. It's not a bad thing at all. But her voice has changed a little bit. You know who she sounds like too, by the way? Her and Ashley Johnson sound exactly alike. It's actually kind of scary. Never really realized it until like this last year. Wonder what they could possibly do for Life is Strange 5. Well, let's get through this one first. But I do think it should be with Max. They're going to do a Life is Strange show. That's already confirmed. They're doing a Life is Strange show. Originally, I think it was supposed to kind of be based off the first game. So, yeah, that is actually a real thing. Not a huge fan of that. I just don't think it would be done well. And I will watch Borderlands. Yeah, I'm not going to watch it in theaters, but I will watch it. I will watch it later. Oh boy. Oh, I've really dropped the ball in terms of keeping up with you guys. All right, we're going to kind of rapid fire. We got about 15 more minutes left. I mean, does Max and Chloe in A Life is Strange, would that work in a Kingdom Hearts? Kingdom Hearts is a lot about light and darkness, and I think that's why Star Wars works really well, is they're basically the exact same thing, right? Like light versus dark. Final Fantasy, I mean, like they have their own themes, but they're generally, like it's good versus bad. But I think it's a little bit more, it's about the heart, right? Max is a helpful person. If you choose Chloe, you're being selfish, which is fine, but you are being selfish, right? Like that's the point of it. And so I don't know, like would that jive with Sora, with Kingdom Hearts, you know what I mean? Yeah, there was a TV show. If Max accepts the date, she writes how not into him she is, by the way. Oh, in the journal? I read the journal for the first, 2 episodes, and then it started to get to, 60 pages, and I just kind of stopped. But, I did not know that. That's a great, whatever you want to call it, find. Oh, wow. So what is that? Is that in a journal of episode 3 or 4? Maybe she writes in the journal where she's not yeah. Oh, you say it. I should just read the rest of your comments. Sorry, Tasha. Thank you for stopping by. I am going to do predictions for Gamescom. Read the journals. If Max accepts the date with Warren, she just writes how he better not make a move on her because she's not into him and sees him as a brother. Oh, man. And if she doesn't kiss Chloe, she keeps writing journals wishing she did. Oh, interesting. Oh, my God. See, you play Life is Strange 5 times. Just played it this week, and that's still something. I did notice, because I did read, like I said, I read the journal entries for episodes 1 and 2, and the before stuff, because it goes a little bit before it as well. And it's detailed. I mean, the pictures are really cool. And you got to think, canonically, Max is doing that, right? So it's she's a great artist. But yeah, I would read them, and yeah, it gives you a little bit more insight as to, it's her recapping, and jotting down her thoughts. But when I got to episode 3, I think it was like 63 pages, and it's like, okay, I just don't want to read these anymore. But oh man, I did not know that. So okay, it seems like then if you go based off her journal, right, she was never super into Warren, and then for Chloe, she maybe was always into, the kissing idea. When she talks, when you make a major choice, right, when you make the two choices, oftentimes her inner thoughts kind of guide you to what she would kind of make. I think what she's thinking after she kisses Chloe, I think she says something like, damn, I bet Chloe thought I wasn't going to do that. Something like that, I think is what she says. You can sometimes tell what she wants to happen, and then you can judge accordingly of what you pick. That is interesting. Did Rachel die between? Yes. Yes, she did. She dies. She went missing a couple months before Life is Strange 1 starts. I think she went missing like in the spring. Life is Strange 1 starts in like October, and which is like a couple weeks into the school year. And she's already been missing for quite a while. Chloe's going through it, and then she's been dead a long time. She's been dead pretty much since she was gone missing because of what happens with Jefferson and Nathan. Yep, there are definitely separate timelines. All his choices Max made happen. Big reason for me choosing Chloe at the ending. Yeah. Yep. Max feels all of it, and I think that's like the way you can get to Chloe, where it's like, it depends on how you look at it, right? Where it's like, well, you've defied fate so much, and like you're this close to this girl, it's like you might as well, keep going and save her. If you were able to make a Scream game, how would you do it, and what would you do mechanically or story-wise as a fan of the series? I would make it a choice-based game, like Until Dawn, and you'd have to have the Ghostface mask, so you have to get creative because, like, I don't think you could do something with Sydney, you know what I mean? You'd have to kind of get creative there, but it would be a choice-based, action-y, how do you say it? Just like a choose-your-own-adventure Until Dawn type game is what a Scream game would be. But in terms of story, I do think you'd have to get the ghost face masks, and then you just kind of have to get creative. Maybe some sort of like copycat killer type thing to avoid the lore of Scream. There's probably something like that. Good question. Oh yeah, that's true. In Volume 3 of Life is Strange comics, yeah, I really probably should have read those. They enter an alternate timeline where Rachel Amber was alive. Yeah, I mean, that's definitely, I'm sure there is a universe where she's alive. I just found it interesting that she says that, or that's a thing in the first game. Nick, no problem. I'm doing good. How about you? Would you ever make a video about if Insomniac was able to make a director's cut for Spider-Man 2? I kind of have a little bit. A director's cut, so like to get all the stuff that they had to rush and not do and get in the game. That'd be pretty. I mean, ultimately, I wanted them to, make their original vision. They were definitely rushed by Sony, and that's not cool. And I think you shouldn't do that going forward. But yeah. GTA 6 Game of the Year. Brooke. Oh, is it Brooke? There's Brooke, Stella. I should just look. It could be Brooke. You could be right. Hi, Brooke. You got to think about Max, like how she says it. Hey, Brooke, what's going on? Life is Strange 1 characters. Daniel DaCosta. Dana. She's the one that gets pregnant, right? She's a cheerleader. Warren. Oh, yes, it is Brooke. You're right. Yep, Brooke and Warren. Victoria. Courtney. Don't think I talked to her. I tried to talk to, like, any conversations you could have, I had. I really did. I went and I talked to Daniel is the one that I think draws the picture of you. And I think you can only talk to him like once or twice in the whole freaking game. And I did that. I did the whole thing. Is it Evan? Oh, yeah, Evan. Evan is the one that he's sitting out in like the corner in the first episode, and you can talk to him. And then he gets hit at Two Whales Diner. He freaking dies, and you have to warn him to get him out of the way. Otherwise, he's just dead. But yeah. So you're right. It's Brooke. So wait, why don't I see Stella is a character, right? Like I'm not making that up. I definitely remember a character named Stella. Please be a real character. Stella Hill. Yep. Yep. She's killed. She's killed by the storm. Oh, she's in the photography class. Very small class, by the way. Like, how does that college get by? There's like 10 kids in the photography class with Jefferson. Should be bigger. I try and watch as many of your videos as I can. Oh God, what goes on here? As you're one of the few on YouTube that feels like genuine content. Keep up the well, thank you. I appreciate that. I really try. I really try. No, I actually don't try. As I think that is the key to being real, is to not try and just like do it. You know what I mean? I think if you put on an act, then you get caught up and you might end up lying, you know what I mean, or catching yourself into a web of lies and stuff. You kind of just have to not care and just do it, and then you don't get tripped up, which I've done pretty well. I could easily get tripped up, right? Because I've made like 6,000 videos. I feel like I really don't get tripped up all that much. Max also, she does. Tasha, that is very true. Max also ignores so many of his texts. I can't ship them given she writes journals while accepting the date. Yeah. Yep. You're right. He'll text her like 7 times and she won't answer. You know, so yeah, I get that. Nathan is probably the complex. Yeah. Nathan Prescott he's a great character. He really is. He's complex. He's messed up. You know what I think my favorite scene with Nathan is in episode 5. And this is something, by the way, that I feel like just like it's such a deep thing that I feel like they could have messed up on. So when Max is going through her nightmare, right, and she walks into the diner, or she comes from the bathroom, and everybody's there, right? These are all people that are going to die, right? Because they're not dead yet. They're going to die. Max, don't kill me. Oh, I thought we were friends. Things like that. If you walk up to Nathan Prescott, he's already dead, right? He's already killed off by Jefferson, and that he reflects that in that trance state. And he basically says something. He says sorry again. When he calls Max, he apologizes and all that stuff. But in that diner, he apologizes again. He says, like, maybe we could have hung out. Maybe we could have even been friends. And then he says, like, I kind of deserve the stuff that happened to me, but don't let this happen to... That actually really got me, to be honest with you. I was debating this time, and my wife was kind of saying, choose Arcadia Bay this time, because I picked Chloe all the other times. And I was like, okay, I might do it. And I got to be real, like, I'm genuine. Like, hearing Nathan say that, because I've done that before. I've walked through the diner and tried to hear what everybody says, but I think I rush it too much. You got to stand right next to them, and you'll only hear them. So I did that. Justin, the skateboarder, right? All these characters, I would stand right next to him and just listen to them. And Nathan, he specifically says that, where he's like, like what happened has happened, but like, don't let this happen to everybody else. And that's paraphrasing. And I thought, shoot, and that's the real Nathan Prescott, I think, to me, is that, right? He feels regret. And this is the guy who killed Rachel. Like that. It's tough because you feel for him. And I guess that's what makes him complex, right? Where it's like, you feel for him, and I don't hate him. I don't hate him as a person, but it's like he killed like Chloe's girlfriend, best friend, and this character that you're looking for all game. You start to get your hopes up, all this stuff. He's the he overdoses her, he kills her, and it's like, like that sucks, and I mean, it more than sucks. If it was real life, right, it'd be much worse. But this is I think he's messed up. He takes medicine and all that kind of stuff, and his dad is terrible. His dad's a terrible person, and Jefferson manipulates him as a father-son thing. Like, this is a guy who he has a lot of money. He's got generally what he wants, but he really doesn't, right? And I mean, this is a side character, by the way. And again, like, that is what makes Life is Strange so special to me, that we didn't really get, even in like True Colors, is you could make a video essay. Maybe I will. You can make a video essay on Nathan and just talk about Nathan as a character, and it's like, it's so good. And he's just there's not too many of them, right? Like, there's Nathan, Victoria, Kate, and then maybe like Chloe, Max. Like, you can't go into a whole, maybe Frank you probably could, but like, you can't Justin or Alyssa, these kind of characters. They're not that deep, but like, there's quite, like, Max and Chloe are already pretty complicated, right? Rachel is complicated. Joyce and David. Oh, David is a very complicated character. Jefferson, he is, I guess, because he puts on but he's also kind of honest with you, right? He tells them a lot of the stuff he's been doing, right? With kind of hinting at it. But, like Kate is such an insanely, well, I don't know if you want to say cool, because what happens to her cool, not really, but you know what I mean? She's a great character. Victoria is also a really complex character. So I don't know. You know what I mean? You could go on forever about Nathan because he's just so interesting is probably not necessarily cool because of some of the things that these characters do. But he's an interesting character. Okay, we're going to kind of wrap it up. I'm going to try to rapid fire. And then, I'm just going to try to read. I'll just read your comments. If there's anything I'll say, then I'll say it. Okay. I am going to cover Arkham Shadows. Yes, I am. I'm only streaming on... Yeah, I tried to stream on YouTube and on Twitch simultaneously, and I don't think my internet can handle it. I don't know, maybe if it's the plugin I have. That's my fault, or that's my issue I need to figure out. I'm not very good with technology, so most likely I'd only be streaming on YouTube. You know what I mean? Jelly Jam Tails, thank you. I know you probably left 20 minutes ago, but I appreciate the kind words, and I'll see you next time. Max and Smash Brothers, yes, please. Don't get me too excited. LOL, the idea of Max jumping back in time when Rachel is still alive would be Beyonce. Yes, it would. Yes. Yeah, I'm also very delayed. Jefferson is either dead or in jail. There's no other, I don't think he's coming back. I also think my camera is messed up. Yeah, my camera is messed up. Let me try to fix that while I read this. My stupid camera goes into like auto mode and I freaking hate it. Yeah, I hope Caledon University becomes its own entity. It kind of needs to be honest with you, in order to be like Life is Strange 1. Let me fix this. I'm not bald yet. I'm losing most of my hair, but you can still look at the top of my head. Is the game... No, the game's not out yet. My opinion, I do feel the moment in Season 1, Episode 4, where we find out what happened to Rachel is still a very... Yeah, the Rachel finding out is insane. Any opportunity to discuss Silent Hill 2 on Discord? Yeah. You can message, or if you message me on Twitter, you message me on Discord, we can talk about Silent Hill 2. I'm actually, probably next week or the week after, I'm going to replay Silent Hill 2. So I'll be like right in the mood, to cover it. So yeah. You were so funny. Thank you. No, I'm not delayed on the chat. I go on long tangents, and then when I catch up, I'm like 20 minutes behind. It's not the chat. The chat's pretty in line. It's just I want to give everybody their chance, right? So if I go on a tangent on a comment 20 minutes ago, it's just the way it is. I mean, I can't change it. I talk so much. My throat hurts, all that stuff. I can't shut up. So no, don't. It's not the chat. I just try to give you guys all your time because I appreciate you being here. I don't want to leave anybody out. Okay. Player one versus the world. Let me while I'm doing this and going on a tangent, let me direct you guys to this individual right here. Thanks for a lovely comment. X Twitter, really appreciate a great channel. But thank you. This account, Player One versus the World. If you guys are on Twitter, I think that you have a YouTube. Well, you do have a YouTube channel. This is a great creator. This is a guy who covers Life is Strange extremely well. Has had a lot of posts on Double Exposure that I've either quote tweeted or replied to and stuff like that. So if you're looking for a Life is Strange follow of up to date, things like just in general on Life is Strange, this is the person right here. Player One versus the World. They know what they're doing. I appreciate you stopping by. Surprised they never made a game just about Rachel. Well, they did. Before the Storm is really a Rachel game. I would you play as Chloe, but I really think it is Rachel's game. But yeah, doing something with Nathan would be interesting. I did not pre-order it just because I'm unsure. Like I want to talk to Deck 9, see see what's gonna happen. If I'm buying it with my own money, I will absolutely buy it. I'll buy the deluxe, the collector's edition. I'm ready to spend the money on it. But I want to see if there's any plans behind the scenes there. By the way, The way Rotten Tomatoes works is critics either give it a 1 or a 0. Borderlands score means 8% gave it a 1 and 9. Oh, that is honestly very confusing. Where do you effing donate through the chat? I think at the bottom, show your it's the money symbol. Sometimes it breaks. I tried to give it to somebody once and it wouldn't take the payment. So sometimes that just happens. But yeah, I think if you do show your support for podcast, I think it's the money sign. That's what it shows on my end. I don't know what it shows on your end. But I appreciate the thought. I appreciate you could be becoming a member is also. Well, no, you're on Patreon, Elvis. I hope you appreciated. I hope you liked that Dragon Ball video. No, I like that Dragon Ball video, and I'm pretty excited to play Legacy of Goku. We're gonna do that in December. If I were to make the next, well, yeah, I think I'd have to cheat, and I would have to say Max. I really I just love her as a character. You know what I mean? So if I were to do a Life is Strange game, I would take Max. I would steal what we've already gotten, and I would do my best to respect the source material. Or I would make my own character. I think I would leave Alex alone. I'd leave Sean and Daniel alone. I'd leave Rachel Amber alone. I think you've done what you can do with Rachel and Chloe. Max, I think there's more to tell. So you couldn't really do prequels. Even something with Nathan would have to be simultaneous with the first, you know what I mean? So I think I either make the next game with Max or I would do just a brand new character. I think that's how I would do it. When I found out Frank is 31 during Life is Strange, I never really gave Frank an age. I always assumed he was older, in his 30s or maybe even 40s. Yeah, I never honestly kind of thought about it. Yeah. I know you're... Oh, yeah. Yeah, Jelly Jam, you can Discord. I think it goes through, I have to, remember to approve message. If messages come to me on Discord, they get, filtered, and I have to, approve it. I don't know why. But Twitter, you could always do that. Yeah. When I'm streaming, I do the same thing. Yeah. I owe you a thank you. I started making a gaming channel for funny moments and ideas in the idea of videos seem to be taking off. So thank you for the... Yeah, of course. I appreciate it. Thank you. By the way, I messaged you on Twitter a while ago. Oh, sometimes I'm not great. Sometimes I'm not great with responding on Twitter for a lot of different reasons. But yeah. All right, guys. That's okay. I love the drink. Yeah, that's weird. That's okay. I don't know how the donating stuff. There is a button for it, but it might be in the chat thing. But I won't derail it too much. I know you support the channel, and I definitely appreciate that a lot. But yeah, no, I'm glad you liked the Dragon Ball video, by the way. Max, Amber, Chloe, Nathan. I've done videos on how I think Capcom would remake the... Oh, nice. Yeah, no, that's good. That's good. Any advice on editing? I'm a terrible editor, so my advice would be to do your own thing. Establish your own style, and then just stick with it. Because you become known for your own thing. You know what I mean? I'm known for my own thing, which is just what I do. I'm not known for the flashy editing stuff, and I think that's okay, right? You're all kind of known for what you do. It's been great fun. Could listen to Life is Strange discussion. Well, thank you. Yeah, no, it was a blast. I'm really glad I did it because Life is Strange 1 was in the old noggin, and I wanted to make a stream on it. All right, so we'll stop here. Like I said, next Friday there will be no stream. Friday after, we'll maybe do just a general kind of hangout, and then we'll take it from there, okay? Definitely, probably one more. I want to do one more Life is Strange stream before we get going with the game, and there'll be a lot of stuff on Life is Strange, okay? Video probably tomorrow or the next day on the first game. Thank you guys for being here. Have a great weekend, and I'll see you all on the next